Dr. Gabrielle Malcolm, and I am an academic and writer. And I began an investigation into Jane Austen fan culture, about 15 years ago, when I moved to Bath and discovered just how popular Jane Austen was amongst visitors, and how many things like merchandise. So when I spotted those I Heart Darcy bags, that was the thing that set me off on my trail of investigation. And it led me to writing a book called There's Something About Darcy, editing lots of things about Austen, and doing talks on television and for festivals. And then one day I happily approached Susanna Harker to interview her about uh, her past, her association with Austen and with the character of Jane Bennet. And from there, we got talking about your writing career now. That's what we can call it. And I think it'd be really good for you to tell us a little bit about that writing journey, Susanna, and how you got into that from acting into writing.
Gosh, okay. Hello. Hi. So I wrote and I set out to write something again, fairly serious, I think. And then realized it was very funny. And it just got funnier and funnier, and I couldn't stop it being funny. And then it broadened and became about many other things. Um, and and I've involved very much the Austen fan base in it.
Mm.
Um, and that became very interesting to me, and they took on a life of their own, really. And at the time, I was also doing events and going
Yeah.
to through Caroline Knight and through you and to other people. I was being invited all the time to go back and back and back to look at Jane Bennet, myself as Jane Bennet all that time ago. And so I just mined my own experience. I was
Yeah.
very reluctant to at first, but I realized that it was the way to go. The tremendous ability for Austen's work to help people, and she helped me. She helped me through this very difficult phase in my life, and
Mm.
in a sort of meta way, is still helping me. I suppose it's still going on. We're doing this together. We're coming together, and Lucy's come on board, who's this amazing film writer, screenwriter, and producer for this for us. And it's just it keeps on giving. This
Mm.
extraordinary. And I think that Jane Austen, and the people I have met around this community have all shared a tremendous sense of kind of well-being through Austen. And
It's like the way that I see it, and with my involvement with the Austen communities online over the years, and particularly through COVID and things like that, it's like all of the best bits of the internet and of reading and of community and of making connections with people around the world come together in the sort of Austen themed sites and pages.
So hi. Yeah, my background is I started off acting and didn't get anywhere. I went to study drama and did lots of fringe theatre, and then ended up working in film as a script reader, working for Miramax Films and working for lots of big film companies in London, reading scripts, and became a script editor, was asked to producers to develop stories, and then I worked as a development executive for a production company, working on a lot of big movies. The biggest one probably was Merchant of Venice with Al Pacino. Um, and then I was also writing, and I wrote a film called Secret of Moonacre, which is actually quite Austen influenced. I used to pitch it because I was also working on it as a producer as kind of Jane Austen for kids. Elizabeth became involved with a mutual friend, Alison Larkin, who's also another big Austenite, because she knows how much I mean, like many others, I'm a super fan of Austen and the drama that Susanna's in. Um, and Austen for me is just like something you meet Mr. Collins like every 5 years. There are so many characters. Her wit and her observation of human nature, and also the Bingley sisters,
Oh,
how people behave, and often women, yeah, often women who just can't help going, with the, with the screwdriver and all of it is so brilliantly observed, and the way she looks at class, and feminism, it's brilliant. But the main thing for me is I love, as a writer, I love comedy drama. I love, and I think the way to get through life is to laugh, because otherwise I don't know how any of us can cope. There's so much. And I think when Susie and I met, introduced by Alison Larkin, I read the script, and I mean, I've worked with students, I work with lots of people as a writer, but I love working as a script editor as well. And I thought, no, this is really good. This is smart. This is intelligent. This is also, I worked on another show that I'm doing, which has had some similar themes about older women, and just saying, actually, no, we don't want to be pigeonholed. We don't want to be put in this corner. We're fed up of being described as this stereotype, this organic journey of
Mm.
working with working with the team, just thinking about, oh, what can we do? We need to, and the industry is, in strange times, COVID and AI and all sorts of things happening. It's like, what can we do to make this wonderful film happen? With this also having a brilliant actor, so we've already cast it, which
Mm.
any producer knows is half the half the problem. This sort of meta story, which we want to really evolve and bring in the next tranche, and bring in a great director and, get it made. But I'm really excited about the project, and I'm working with Susanna, and I think we're just going to have a massive reach to so many women,
Yeah.
because it's that, when you're looking, I've worked for Miramax and Universal, lots of people, they say, well, what is it when you read a script? And it's the golden ticket is something that's really universal.
Yeah.
Yes.
That a woman in India, a woman in France,
Yeah.
not only women, of course,
Yeah.
will be men as well, but there is a universality of the themes and the story that I think is endlessly fascinating and also funny. I mean, there's so much comedy that happens, that actually the only way to really, I think, to deal also with difficulty, and the best comedies are often have a bit of darkness in.
There are four of us, five of us, who are all women of a certain age. We've heard that, but and I think it resonates very, very strongly with all of us in that respect. I was writing about being underrepresented, really, or misrepresented in our midlife. I mean, the kind of parts that I was being offered were shocking. As soon as I turned 50, it was Mrs. Thatcher or matrons or great aunt dowagers or kind of, it was just like, but where is the positive reflection of the
Mm.
real woman who we are, and that you're either a cougar or you're a sort of mother figure, but we're not that. And I just,
Yeah.
there isn't, the parts aren't there. So
Isn't it the case that when you return to her works at different ages and different times in your life, that you relate to those characters in different ways? People have said that again, time and again, about going back to her characters. And I think that's where in that big kind of, in that interrogation that we're going through at the moment, with shows on the BBC and books being published, of what makes her a genius, what made her so brilliant and
yeah.
lasting and universal. And I think it really does come down to those characters who are just leap off the page, but do it in that really subtle way, like from
I
generation to generation.
Going back to this project, I think it is its own story. It is part of Susanna's life. With, as writers, we all bring in bits of our life with other factors woven in, but it has an organic truth and direct relationship with Jane Austen, and she is going to be, she is, but the script is evolving.
Well,
Um,
exactly. The script, it's a work in progress, and what we're aiming at is looking for the kind of support
yeah.
that's needed for the next phase. Could you talk a little bit about that next phase then? What are we aiming for? What do we want people's support with? Because this will be all about the discussion about the script and the direction it's going in.
Yes. So what we're really looking to do at this stage is in filmmaking terms, this is a development process. So we're looking to raise funds to develop the project, so Susanna and I can really get to work to create a wonderful draft and to attach a director, and some more partners. So what we're doing is we want to be quite careful that we just at the moment keep the process quite small. So we're looking for people to be involved, for people who want to support this project and support stories that aren't mass produced. They're not, it's not a Marvel comic. It's an original piece of work. And now more than any time, because it's so difficult in the arts, we need to support original voices and original stories. So what we want is for people to come on board, be part. There's all sorts of wonderful rewards, and we want people to come on board and be part of the process and join in with that.
Let's find out from you, Susie, about the process for this project,
Yeah.
and about aiming towards the film, the piece that you want to make. What does this mean in terms of, for you as a creator and actor, doing it this way, how this will sort of support you?
Well, of course, it's rather like Jane Austen herself. It's a feeling of self-empowerment, and to be able to, when you feel so disempowered midlife as an actor, or tend to, with the kind of parts that's been coming in and the kind of, it's very empowering to write something and to discover that you can write. And especially now I'm enabled to write much better with amazing people coming in on board, this incredible team. It's bringing it to life in ways, that I couldn't have imagined. I think I was really trying to address that huge exodus really that happens midlife, when your kids grow up and they leave home, you have an empty nest. People's partners run off with much younger women. There's your body changes, everything. You lose so much, or you have a sense of loss midlife. And I just think it's how you address that and how you fill that void really is what I was trying to look at.